S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan 2 Son Goku was released on July 21st as one of the 2022 San Diego Comic-Con exclusives and retails for $70 US. As all of you are aware, Super Saiyan 2 Goku, along with the other event exclusives, were made available only to those who attended San Diego Comic-Con and later on through pre-order on the premium Bandai US website. Pre-orders for all 4 Dragon Ball releases have closed now and will ship out March 2023. So before we start, I just want to give a huge shout out to Ace, aka Animated Heroes, who I'm sure you all know by now, and Mr. A, who has helped me numerous times in the past with video content that he personally takes and sends over to me every time there is an event or something of that nature in the States. Yes, he does have a real name, but for privacy reasons, we'll be calling him Mr. A. Both Ace and Mr. A were the ones who made this review and my upcoming Android 16 review possible. I can't thank both of these tremendous gentlemen enough. They always have my back and they always follow through every time I find myself in a pickle, and I urge all of you to follow them on their respective social media channels. I'll have their info in the description, so go show them some love and tell them I sent you. So if there's a version of Goku that I've wanted Tamashii to make since the beginning of time, it would have to be Super Saiyan 2 Goku, the absolute best and coolest looking transformation in all of Dragon Ball ever. Full stop, period. And I know that's heavily biased because we all know the coolest transformation is Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? But I've loved this version of Goku for the longest time, and even after all these years, with all the transformations Goku has gone through, including all the Kaioken variations, Super Saiyan 2 still remains, to this day, my favorite upgrade to the original Super Saiyan. So there was definitely a lot riding on this figure, and usually when it's a character that is near and dear to the heart, you're usually pretty critical about it, because, well, you know, you want it to be the best possible figure it can be, right? I've had Goku for a couple of days now, so the initial new figure excitement has definitely died down a little. And even with this basically being a retool of yet another 2.0 Goku figure, this is a retool done right. Would I have preferred it on the newer 3.0 body? Sure, but for what we get in terms of coloring, a resculpted chest, a phenomenal looking head and faces, with the inclusion of a brand new power-up effect, I think Tamashii have delivered what I think is one of the best uses of the 2.0 body. Well, that's all well and good, 86, but the last Goku we got was a gummy mess, so how does this one fare? Is it just going to be the same limp, mold-degraded disaster that one was? Well, I'm glad you asked, and even if you didn't, I'm going to tell you, because as Ace mentioned in his review, this one is a solid figure. It has none of the problems Full Power Goku had, and has everything you would expect from, say, a Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku. The quality of the plastic, the dexterity of the joints, the matte finish, it's all there, as it always should be. And it's just simple, obvious things like having good quality plastic or solid joints that unfortunately isn't always the case with all figures, but just really makes the figure so much more enjoyable to handle, not just to look at. Again, that's how it should be with all figures, and I'm not giving points to this release for just having, you know, something that it originally should have, but I just want to let you guys know that the QC is definitely up there. The colors on Goku this time around, I think, are probably the closest to what most people would imagine when they think Goku. If you ask somebody to draw a picture of Goku and then color him in, I think this would probably be what most people would come up with. The oranges are bright and vibrant, with some subtle shading on the gi, around the shoulders, and on the front of the pants. Unfortunately, Tamashii always seems to forget the back. The blues are also lighter, brighter, very similar to the 1.0 base form Goku. In fact, the whole color scheme is pretty close to that figure, with of course less shading. I think for me personally, it's my favorite color scheme for Goku, and probably the one that best represents Goku from the Buu arc, as it should. Now to the head sculpt, which is essentially the full power Goku with a newly resculpted front bangs piece. The iconic 2 strands on the side and 1 strand coming down the middle looks spot on, and I think it's a great way to reuse the full power head sculpt, changing it up just enough to give us something that looks completely different. The base head sculpt also has a slot at the back for the halo, which you can remove, but I think it's a nice little something that further separates it from other 2.0 Goku figures. Tamashii have opted to go with a light metallic yellow instead of a pale flat yellow that was originally seen with the prototype, but I think it's a personal preference here. Some people love the metallic almost gold look, whilst others prefer that flat yellow with a bit of shading. I personally like the pale yellow with a bit of shading, but the metallics look good too, and I think it works well with the aura effect and electricity, which you'll see later on in the video. I think Demoniacal Fit will probably do the opposite, which is what I'm hoping for, because I would definitely like to have a Goku in each different color scheme. Now to those delicious looking faces, which is what I think Full Power Goku was actually going for, but this release just pulled it off a lot better. The faces are so animated and the printing is so crisp and clean, you can really see, well at least for me anyway, Keisuke Masunaga, the guy who animated the Buu versus Super Saiyan 2 fight, in these faces, especially the smirk face and this face. I don't know what to call it, but it's beautiful and I love it. Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 4, and the base form 1.0 Goku will go down for me as some of the best looking faces, Goku faces, we have ever gotten from Tamashii. Alright guys, so let's take a look at the articulation, and at this point we're all pretty familiar with the 2.0 body. There's nothing new here. At this point I kind of feel like I'm repeating myself, but you know, there are always new collectors, there are always people who are just getting into this hobby, so I guess if you are looking at this figure for the first time, let's take a look at the articulation. So Goku does move his head up quite far up, and he can bury his chest. He can bury his head into his chest about that much as well. And that's assisted by the independent neck joint that he has. You have side to side, and you have a bit of tilt there, left and right as well. So looking at these shoulders shoulder bits here, they are on ball joints which attach to the shoulder there. But you can get Goku to move his arms out. I think he can go better than that. About 90 degrees. He does have butterfly joints. And you can bring his arms in about that far. Not the best. You can still get Goku to perform a Kamehameha pose. You just have to fiddle around with it a little bit. It's not as easy as, say, the 3.0 body, but he still can pull off a decent Kamehameha or a blast pose. We get 360 there, rotation at the shoulder, upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and of course you get your swivels and hinges at the wrist as well. So the torso, you can extend the torso up a little to get Goku to crunch forward a little bit further, and he does crunch back about that much. There is a ball joint there in his torso, in the waist there, so he can move around and around. And just with every other 2.0 Goku, and I'm sure you've seen this, if you pop out the upper torso, separate it from the lower torso, there is like a little tab there that you can cut off, which gives Goku even better ab crunch. And I have another Goku here handy, which I did that mod on, and it's the superhero Goku. So I did the mod to this guy, and he can get Much better ab crunch, as you can see here. You do get some gap there at the back, but if you want to give that a go, I'd say warm up the figure first. Be careful, obviously, with hot water. Separate both those two parts, the upper and the lower, or just the upper half actually, and you should see like a tab there. You cut that off and you should get more range with the ab crunch. So he does have waist swivel. With the legs, it is the 2.0 body, so you get the full extension forward and back. Something that I think a lot of people prefer on this body. And you do get left and right splits about that far. Upper thigh cut. Double jointed knees. And you get the dumbbell joint there at the ankles, so you do get swivels up and down, toe articulation, and a bit of ankle tilt there as well. So again, nothing too surprising. It's the 2.0 body. It's pretty well articulated and a lot of fun to pose. And yeah, if you want a bit of extra articulation in the torso there, again, that mod is optional. Alright, head swaps time. So we're going to be putting the Super Saiyan 2 head on all of these Goku bodies except for the furthest right body here, which is Trunks, Super Saiyan Trunks body here. And I just want to tell you that all of these bodies will fit this head. All the ball pegs on the 2.0 bodies do fit the Super Saiyan 2 head, so you won't have any problems putting them on. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be using a little bit of blue tack just to, you know, move things along and make things go a little bit smoother. The 1.0 body, the ball peg on that figure is slightly bigger, but it will fit. You just have to, I guess, pop it on. Use a little bit of force to put it on. But a word of warning, because the ball peg is slightly bigger, you don't want to be leaving the head on for too long because it might stretch out the ball socket for the head. And when it comes time to put it back on the original body, you know, it might stretch it out a little bit and be a little bit loose. So with that out of the way, let's get on with the first body. And it is the Saiyan Raised on Earth body. Let's pop the blue tack on there and see how he looks. Not too bad. The head does sit a little bit high. Sorry guys, I'm trying to put it as low as I can, but it gives you an idea. Not my preferred gi style, but I know a lot of people do like this original take on Goku with the bow there at the front for his belt. Okay. The next body we are going to have a look at is the superhero body, the most recent. The skin tones are a little bit different. Again, it does have that more classic look to it with the front tie, front bow there at the front, but the V cut here is a little bit deeper, so it is, I guess, a little bit more modern. The colors don't look too bad. I like that. And for the next body, this is the full power body, which is the same. And sorry about that, guys. Mail came through, which is almost the same as the body that this head came with, except obviously it doesn't have the slash in the middle, and the coloring on this is a lot darker. The oranges are a lot darker, the shading is a lot darker on the pants, and I don't really like the blue on this particular figure. It's more of a navy than, I guess, a blue, but it works, and it works, I guess, as you know, if you want that cleaner look, you don't want that slash down in the middle. All right, let's have a look at the 1.0 body. And I love the colors on this. Again, it is really similar to the body that this head came with. And I think this looks fantastic. Look at that. Let's just put him on the side there. Again, it's an older body, but the shading on this is impeccable. The coloring is vibrant, and I think really represents well the Super Saiyan 2, the Buu arc, where Super Saiyan 2, you know, obviously originated from Super Saiyan 2 Goku, that is. Alright, so the next body is the Super Saiyan God body. And this one is a little bit thinner. His arm is a little bit thinner. And I think this works as well, except I think Super Saiyan 2 is a little bit more muscular, so this might be a little bit too thin for a Super Saiyan 2 head. I don't know. I like the coloring on it, and I do like the deeper V cut, but it might be a little bit too slim. I don't know. What do you guys think? All right. So the next body is one of my favorites, probably actually my favorite Goku figure to date, and that is, of course, Warrior Awakening Goku. And I think that looks pretty awesome as well. Again, love the shading, the skin tones, the details. Looks fantastic. All right. The next one is the Ultra Instinct Sign. Let's get that ball pack at the front. And I think this works really well as well, because we did see Goku, if I remember correctly, in Dragon Ball Super, sporting this look when he's in the Tournament of Power. He powers up to Super Saiyan 2, and I think he fights Kefla? I don't remember who he fights, but I do know that he does sport this look in the Tournament of Power. So this works really well as well. And again, this is one of my favorite looks, the Battle Damage blue shirt look. I think it works really well. And then we have Ultra Instinct, shirtless. I think this works. This looks good with anything, you know. I don't think we've seen in the animation Super Saiyan 2 Goku without his shirt or his gi, but it definitely looks really cool. And the last body, of course, is Super Saiyan Trunks. Oops, his hair kind of popped off there. And I think this works really well as well. I think it'll look absolutely perfect with the smirking face. But I really like this look. Alright, there we have it, guys. Some head swaps. Let me know what your favorite look is, which body you plan to put this head on. I'll probably keep it on the body that it originally came with, but I really do like the 1.0 body, and I really do like the blue Battle Damage shirt look as well. But yeah, let me know what's your favorite look for Goku with this head. So for accessories, we get the standard 2.0 hands, which you are all familiar with by now. They're nothing spectacular. We get 2 fists, the open palm blast hands, the Kamehameha hands, Goku's iconic fighting pose hands, and some instant transmission hands. You all know how I feel about these hands, but I do want to show you what Goku would look like with a pair of well-sculpted hands borrowed from Ultimate Gohan. They don't fit, unfortunately, as the peg holes are a little bit too big for the actual pegs, but with a bit of blue tack, you can still use them, and I think they just look so much better and have so much more expression. For the faces, we have 4 in total, all looking amazing. I really like the lines around his eyes. It gives off that anime look, and again, just very clean in terms of printing. Super Saiyan 2 Goku also comes with a brand new aura effect piece, molded in translucent yellow plastic. It's very similar to the original yellow, blue, and in more recent times red and reddish blue power-up effects, but this piece here is completely new and has the option to attach these 4 translucent blue electric effects. 2 pieces that attach to the lower half and 2 that attach to the upper. It's a great inclusion to the release. As you all know, Super Saiyan 2 just isn't Super Saiyan 2 without the electricity. A word of warning though, the blue electric pieces are made from a very hard translucent plastic, which from experience is more prone to snapping or breaking when put under pressure than say a more softer PVC plastic. Just be careful when you're attaching these pieces and you should be fine. The electric parts are on ball joints, so you can swivel them around for a bit of posability, but I do wish they actually attached to the figure and not to the aura effect itself. I think that would have given a lot more posing possibilities, especially if you didn't want to use the power-up piece and just wanted the electric pieces on their own, you know, for some flight poses or for some in-fighting poses, you know, with Majin Vegeta. I think that would have been fantastic. But for what it is, it's a great aura effect piece, and I think it looks great as a display on your shelf. So I think my biggest complaint about this figure is not the actual figure itself, but the fact that it was made an event exclusive. Yes, Tamashii did make it available eventually through the premium Bandai US website, but I think Super Saiyan 2 Goku is iconic enough that it deserves a standard release. Will we see this figure sometime in the future? Probably stripped down without the aura effect piece. Yeah, I think so. Will it be anytime soon? Probably not. And with Demoniacal Fit's impending release of this figure, I don't think it'll matter too much at a surface level. However, I stand by my opinion in thinking this is too good of a figure not to see a regular release, especially with all the 2.0 Gokus we've gotten in the past. This one has got to be one of the best, if not the best, 2.0 Goku out there. I think it's right up there with Kaioken 2.0, which in my opinion is another great example of Tamashii giving us a repaint / retool with a great paint scheme and new parts at a really good price point. Going back to the figure, again, Super Saiyan 2 is my all-time favorite version of Goku, and with that in mind, I don't think I was too biased with my opinion on this release. In fact, quite the opposite. I would have preferred the newer 3.0 body. The new effect piece looks great, but the electricity should have been attached to the figure and not the power-up effect piece itself. But with that being said, if you're going to reuse an older body, you really have to do it right with everything else, and I truly felt this figure knocked it out of the park. I love the color scheme. The resculpted chest and halo are a nice touch and gives the figure a bit of distinction amongst the countless other Goku figures we've had in this body. The head and faces are perfect in my opinion, and to top it off, the quality and finish on this figure is top notch. So I honestly didn't expect this release to be this good, but I'm so happy and so satisfied that it came out the way that it did, and despite being an event exclusive, I can probably retire as of today as a collector, which I will never do, knowing we finally have an official Super Saiyan 2 Goku figure from Tamashii. Anyway, that about does it for this review. I know I wasn't the first, but I definitely wanted to share with you all my thoughts, so I hope you found it somewhat informative or enjoyable. Super Saiyan 2 Goku was the character I've wanted for the longest time, but I'd love to hear what yours is, which figure or what character that hasn't been made would you want to be made from Tamashii. Let me know in the comments. I will be back with my SDCC event exclusive Android 16 review coming up very soon, so make sure you come back for that one as well. Alright everyone, thank you always for watching. Stay safe out there, be good to your mums, and as always, Yoroshiku!